Adobe Footnotes, Accessibility and Practice, Colorado Department of Labor and Employment. Many of our documents at our division include footnotes. Footnotes typically occur in the footer and are used as citations in our documents. On my screen, I have an example of a posted citation or appeal that we have many times over posted with many footnotes, right? This is a very common thing that we post. Well, in a typical visual view, a footnote can be something that we see. For example, if I zoom in, we have footnote 36, and we can either choose to ignore 36 and keep reading and go on, and there's footnote 37 and then footnote 38 at the next paragraph, or we can actually go and read the footnote down at the bottom. However, for screen reader users, they don't know where the footnote is actually going to show up on the page because pages are not visual. There is no like page separation because they're not using vision to look at the pages. They're using auditory information, right? So if you're blind, you are actually just relying on where the footnote is showing up in the reading order. This means it's really important that we put the actual footnote right after the reference to the footnote or that citation number. So as an example, we're going to look at the footnotes in this larger paragraph, footnotes starting with numbers 38. And you'll notice when I select the paragraph, all the footnotes are also included. If I expand that P tag, you'll notice there is a bunch of reference tags. The reference tags are the citations for the footnotes, and they are all going to have a link associated because that link is going to be associated with that footnote, right? So it goes reference, link, and then the number. So footnote 38, for example. When I look at the footnote itself, I'm going to ensure I'm looking at footnote 38. And footnote 38 has a span tag for its number, and then has a tag for the text that's involved. That footnote, oftentimes called an FE underscore note, or even just a note, or could even just be called footnote, all of those are fine, that is going to appear directly after the reference to it. So it'll read 38, then go down to the page and read 38 id at CMF 11, and then it's going to go back up, read the next sentence in the document, and then read the reference for 39. And you guessed it, read the next footnote for 39. Now, when a document is saved from Word to PDF, this reading order is not obvious. Again, remember when we were using our accessibility checker, the accessibility checker said make sure to manually check your reading order in your document, and footnotes are often left to the end of the page. Why? Well, page reading order logically goes from top to bottom, left to right, and all of the footnotes are at the bottom. So what we have to do is often manually take the footnotes that are often at the bottom of the page and take them and move them by selecting and dragging them to the top. This can be a little tedious, yes, but as long as we do that sufficiently so that the reading order is correct and the reference matches that footnote, then users of assistive technology, such as blind users using screen readers or braille displays, will have appropriate use of these footnotes. And they don't have to keep in their head through this whole page of, I think there's at least six or eight footnotes here, how many footnotes there were, all of the content related to the footnotes they just read, and then go to the end and go, oh my gosh, look at all these footnotes, now I have to remember what these were about. Right? So that's the reason why we want to make sure we are putting the footnotes for that specific footnote citation directly after that citation. Let's see how a screen reader will read it.
Perhaps most significantly, employee paychecks could not be issued without Nanda's signature, giving Nanda the ability to delay or deny payment. By his own admission, Nanda made financial or operational decisions. For CMF, Link 38. 38 ID at CMF 11. This power was especially important in light of CMF's insolvency when the company did not have enough money to pay its debts, as it admits. Link 39. 39 ID at CMF 8. NANDA decided which debts left parent wages, taxes, rents, etc. right parent were paid. Link 40. 40 ID at CMF 11. Indeed, Claire stated that he prepared financial documents under the instruction of NANDA, that NANDA set the priorities for expenditures, and that Claire prepared reports in accordance with NANDA's instruction to ensure that left quote cash was used for the purposes outlined by the general manager and farm manager, right quote. Link 41. 41 ID at CMF 18. When the company became insolvent, NANDA admitted that he negotiated bank loans on behalf of CMF. Link 42. 42 ID at CMF 11, and he also negotiated with this division to avoid paying employee wages, stating left quote, currently Colorado Mushroom Farm is working with a lender for a loan. Hopefully the loan will go through within 8-10 weeks. Colorado Mushroom Farm intends left bracket sick right bracket to pay the remaining employee wages as soon as the funding happens, right quote. Link 43. 43 ID at CMF 8. Thus NANDA was specifically responsible for the employer conduct most critical to this investigation, the admitted failure to pay wages owed.
Find more videos on our YouTube channel at CDLE_DLSS.